My son told me I wasn't invited to Christmas, so I stopped paying his mortgage. And what I discovered 3 days later made me realize the terrible mistake I'd almost made. My name is Robert Hayes. I'm 64 years old, and this is the story of how my son's Christmas dismissal led me to cut off financial support, how anger nearly destroyed our relationship, and how the truth I discovered changed everything I thought I knew about being a parent. I'm a retired accountant from Denver, Colorado. Worked 40 years, saved well. My wife Margaret died of ovarian cancer in 2018. We'd been married 36 years. We had one son, Ethan. He was 32 in 2024, married to Ashley. They had 2 kids, my grandkids, Lucas, age 5, and Emma, age 3. After Margaret died, I'd focused on family, being the best grandfather possible. It's what she would have wanted. Ethan and Ashley lived in Highlands Ranch, south of Denver. Nice 4-bedroom house, but the mortgage was crushing, $3,200 a month. When they'd bought it in 2019, they'd been stretched thin. Ethan was a software engineer making decent money, but with Ashley staying home with the kids, finances were tight. That's when I'd offered to help. "Dad, we can manage," Ethan had said. "I know you can, but why struggle? Let me pay the mortgage. It'll give you breathing room. And it's my way of helping my grandkids have a stable home," I'd told him. Ethan had hesitated. "Are you sure? That's a lot of money." "I've got more than I need. Your mom and I saved for retirement together. She's gone. I don't need much. I'd rather see it help you now," I'd explained. So for 5 years, I'd paid their mortgage every month, $3,200, direct deposit. That's $192,000 total. At first, Ethan had been grateful, called regularly, invited me over. I'd been part of their lives. But over time, things had changed. The invitations became rare, the calls less frequent. By 2024, I was lucky to see my grandkids once every 6 weeks. I'd have to ask, "Can I come visit this weekend?" "We're pretty busy, Dad. Maybe next time," Ethan would say. "How about Tuesday evening? I could bring dinner." "The kids have activities. It's not a good day." Always an excuse. Always too busy. December 2024. I'd called Ethan on December 5th about Christmas. "Hey, son, what are you doing for Christmas? I'd love to come over, spend the day with the kids," I'd said. There'd been a pause. "Actually, Dad, this year's complicated. Ashley's parents are coming. Her brother and his family, too. The house is going to be packed. We're not really expecting anyone else." I'd felt like I'd been punched. Anyone else? "Ethan, I'm your father." "I know, Dad, but it's going to be chaos. Ashley's family hasn't visited in over a year. This Christmas is for them," Ethan had explained. "And what about me? I'm family too," I'd said quietly. "We'll do something after the holidays, maybe New Year's. We can celebrate them," Ethan had suggested. "It won't be the same. Christmas is Christmas. I want to see Lucas and Emma open their presents, be part of the day," I'd told him. "Dad, please don't make this harder than it is. "We've made our decision," Ethan had said firmly. "When did I become such a burden to you?" I'd asked, my voice breaking. "You're not a burden. We're just doing Christmas differently this year." "I have to go. Lucas is calling me. We'll talk later," Ethan had said, and hung up. I'd sat there staring at the phone. For 5 years, I'd paid for the roof over their heads, and I wasn't even worth an invitation to Christmas. That night, angry and hurt, I'd logged into my bank account, found the automatic payment to their mortgage company, canceled it. The mortgage was due December 15th. I'd stopped the payment on December 10th. I'd told myself they needed to learn, to appreciate what I'd been doing, to understand they couldn't just use me. December 20th, Ethan had called. His voice was panicked. "Dad, the mortgage company called. They said this month's payment wasn't received. Did something happen with your bank?" Ethan had asked. "Nothing happened with my bank. I stopped the payment," I'd said calmly. "What? Why?" he'd demanded. "Because you don't want me for Christmas. So I figured you don't want my help anymore either," I'd explained.
"Dad, that's not fair. Those are two completely different things," Ethan had protested.
"Are they? I've been giving you $3,200 every month for 5 years. All I wanted was to be part of my grandkids' lives, to feel like family. And you can't even make room for me at Christmas?" I'd said. "It's complicated," Ethan had started. "It's not complicated. You've been taking my money and pushing me away. I'm done," I'd interrupted. "We can't afford this mortgage without you. We'll be late on the payment," Ethan had said desperately. "Then figure it out. You're a grown man. You should be able to support your own family," I'd told him. "Dad, please, can we talk about this?" Ethan had begged. "We can talk when you're ready to treat me like family instead of an ATM. Until then, you're on your own," I'd said, and hung up. Over the next few days, Ethan had called multiple times. I'd ignored him. Ashley had called too, left voicemails about how I was being cruel, punishing them, risking their children's home over hurt feelings. I'd ignored those too. I'd told myself I was teaching them a lesson, that they needed to learn gratitude. But deep down, I was just hurt and angry. Christmas Eve arrived, December 24th. I'd spent it alone in my apartment, eating takeout, watching old movies, thinking about Margaret, how she'd loved Christmas, how she'd made everything magical. I'd wondered what she'd think of what I was doing. Around 8 p.m., there'd been a knock on my door. I'd opened it to find Ethan standing there. He'd looked terrible, exhausted, eyes red, like he'd been crying. "Dad, can I come in?" Ethan had asked quietly. I'd stepped aside, let him in. We'd sat in my living room, silence hanging heavy between us. "I need to tell you something," Ethan had finally said. "Something I should have told you months ago." "What?" I'd asked, my voice cold. "Ashley's been sick, really sick. She was diagnosed with lupus in August. It's an autoimmune disease. She's been in and out of the hospital, having flare-ups. Some days she can barely get out of bed," Ethan had revealed, his voice breaking. I'd felt the air leave my lungs. "What?" "The reason we haven't invited you over is because Ashley's too sick. She's embarrassed. Doesn't want you to see her like this." Some days she can't even take care of the kids. Her mom has been coming to help. That's why they're here for Christmas. Not because we chose them over you, but because Ashley needs her mom right now," Ethan had explained. "Why didn't you tell me?" I'd whispered. "Because Ashley asked me not to. She didn't want pity, didn't want people treating her differently. She wanted to handle it privately. But Dad, we're drowning. I've been missing work to take her to appointments, to watch the kids when she's too weak. Our savings are gone. Medical bills are piling up. The mortgage payment was the one thing we didn't have to worry about because of you. And then you stopped it, and I—" Ethan had broken down, sobbing. I'd felt like the worst person alive. "The Christmas thing, that wasn't about you. Ashley was having a bad week. Her parents were coming to help. Ashley's brother is a nurse. He's been coordinating her care. We needed them here. It wasn't about excluding you. It was about survival," Ethan had said through tears. "Oh God, Ethan, I'm so sorry. I didn't know," I'd said, moving to sit beside him. "I should have told you, but Ashley was so adamant about keeping it private, and I was trying to respect that, trying to hold everything together, the kids, the house, her treatments, her moods when the medication makes her feel awful. I've been falling apart, Dad, and when you stopped the payment, I felt like I'd lost my last anchor," Ethan had confessed. "I'm making the payment, tonight, right now, and I'm so sorry for assuming the worst, for being selfish, for not asking why things had changed," I'd said, pulling out my laptop. I'd logged into my bank, made an emergency payment to the mortgage company, called them to ensure it would process immediately. "Done. The payment is in. You're not losing the house," I'd told Ethan. "Thank you," Ethan had whispered. "Can I see her, Ashley, tomorrow?" I'd asked. "She'd like that. She's been feeling guilty about Christmas, about not telling you. She'll be relieved, you know," Ethan had said. Christmas Day. I'd driven to their house, brought presents for Lucas and Emma, flowers for Ashley. Ashley's parents had been there, gracious, welcoming. They'd understood my mistake. Ashley had been on the couch, pale, thin, but she'd smiled when she saw me. "Robert, I'm sorry for keeping you away, for not being honest," Ashley had said weakly. "No, I'm sorry for being so focused on my feelings that I didn't see you were hurting," I'd replied, sitting beside her. "We should have told you," Ashley had insisted. "You were protecting yourself, your kids." "I understand now," I'd assured her. I'd spent Christmas with my family, playing with Lucas and Emma, helping in the kitchen, supporting Ethan however I could. It wasn't the Christmas I'd imagined, but it was the Christmas they needed. Over the following months, I'd been there, for doctor appointments when Ethan couldn't take off work, for childcare when Ashley was too sick, for grocery runs and meal prep. Ashley's treatment had been working. By spring 2025, she'd been in remission, stronger, healthier. Ethan had kept his job. They'd caught up on bills. I'd continued paying the mortgage, not as charity, as family support, because that's what family does when someone is drowning. And I'd learned something crucial. Not everything is about me. Sometimes people pull away because they're struggling too much to reach out, not because they don't care. Here's what I learned. Before you judge someone's actions, understand their struggles. My son wasn't excluding me out of ingratitude. He was protecting his wife while she fought an invisible illness. I'd almost destroyed our relationship because I'd made their crisis about my feelings. I also learned that communication saves relationships. Ethan should have told me about Ashley's lupus, but I should have asked why things had changed instead of assuming the worst. Pride and hurt feelings nearly cost us everything. Most importantly, generosity with strings attached isn't generosity. It's manipulation. I'd been helping them financially, but the moment I felt unappreciated, I'd weaponized that help. Real support doesn't come with conditions or expectations. It just gives. Some distances aren't about rejection. Sometimes they're about survival. And the best thing you can do is be patient enough to understand the difference. If this story touched your heart, hit that like button and tell me which country you're watching from. I love hearing from all of you. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss these powerful stories about family, misunderstanding, forgiveness, and learning that love means supporting people even when you don't understand their choices. New story every single day that will make you think, feel, and connect. See you in the next one. Take care.